This is the finished product of the title block drawing that we're about to do. This is a practice of the multi-line text command, changing different fonts, different sizes, and different justifications. We'll also do some dimensioning to complete our picture. We'll begin with starting a new drawing. Alright, let's go to our model space. From here, I'm going to begin with some construction lines. So I'm going to change my layer to construction line, and I'm going to go to my construction line button. I'm going to begin with a horizontal style, and I'm going to begin at 0, 0. At this time, I'm going to hit enter and activate the command one more time by clicking the button and using the vertical style. From here, I'm going to do 0, 0 to get both lines started at the origin. From there, it's going to be a series of offsets based off the measurements from the handout. So I'm going to begin with an offset of the total distance, which is 10.75. I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to click this line over. So again, that's my total width of the object. Next will be a series of, like I said, different offsets. So I'm going to hit enter twice. One enters to end the offset command, the second one's to reactivate it. And I want to begin with 1 for the offset and click over. I'm going to hit enter twice. The next one will be 1.81. I'm going to go back to the original line and click forward. The next one will be 3.5. The next one is 4.75. See, 5.25. Alright, the next one will be 6.06. Again, from the original line going forward. Next one will be 8. Our next one is 9.19. And that should complete our vertical offsets, except for one more on the opposite side, which has an offset of 0.75. We click this line here and we go over 75. Next will be offsets from the horizontal line going up. We begin with the first measurement of 0.25. So we click this line and up. Our next one will be 1. So again, the bottom line and up. Next is 2.13. Next is 2.56. Next is 3. Next is 3.5. Next is 4. That concludes all our vertical numbers. So ultimately, our title block shape will be within this grid we have here. Alright, so we're going to begin with our object line. here, I'm going to draw another line that goes across at that point. We also have a short line that we'll draw right here. Now this short line, we're going to just kind of estimate the size. I'm going to type 0.75 for the size of this line. All right, and there's a possibility we may have to change the size depending on when we get to the text at that point. So right now, I think we have completed the overall shape of the title block based off our construction lines. All right, now it's time for the text. Now, before we begin the text, it is important that we change our text style. So we're going to go to Annotate, and we're going to go to our text style button here. From here, all we want to do is make sure that the common font is in place. So the most common font that goes with this drawing is the simplex font. So the simplex is the only one that should be kind of locked in. We'll customize all the other ones as we go, but for the most part, the simplex, it has a standard height of 0.09. Okay, and then it's also left justified. Now that part there is going to be determined when we get to the justification part. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the set current button here. All right, and then I'm going to close it out. So that kind of locks that part in. Next will be for us to begin with our first text box. So we go to the A where it says multi-line text, and we're going to go from one corner to the other corner. And then we're going to do REQD. All right. This is a this font here is not necessarily simplex. It is actually Romans with the S. So we'll go to Romans. One short way would be to just type the letter R, and you can hit the R as many times to scroll through the different Romans. All right, and then from there, the height is 0.12. So we put the height over here. You type 0.12 and press enter. Then next, it says for us to use a fit. And to do that, we're going to go to justification and just do middle center. And that will put it in place. One thing I failed to do was to change my layer to text. So let's go ahead and make that change so our text is not as thick. Also, once you have made the change and you hit escape, we go back to the text command layer and make sure we change it again. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. The next one is description. So we go back to our multi-line text, which is under annotate, multi-line text, and I want to go from corner to corner. Here, in the previous one, we actually typed the words and then made the change. In this case, I'm going to actually make the change first, then type the words. So for this one, it is also Roman S. So I'm going to hit the R, find Roman S. It also has a height of 0.12, and it is considered to be a fit. So I'm going to choose middle center under justification. Now I can go in with description. Okay. Now, as you can see, the description is very small compared to the handout. So to increase its size, we will go where it says formatting, and the drop down menu comes. From here, you got three options. The option we want to use is the one at the very bottom. And what you want to do is just crank the number up until the text looks pretty much like the handout. You'll use your own personal judgment. I'm going to go with the 4.2. All right, for description. All right, so next will be the next word, which is part number. So I'm going to click over here, do a text box from corner to corner. Again, I'm going to change my text to Roman S. I'm going to change the size to 0.12. Next will be the fit, which will be middle center. And then finally, going in with the part number. Again, I'm going to highlight the whole text so that I can go to formatting and stretch it out exactly how I see it in the handout. Again, I'm going to probably try to use 4.2, but as you can see, it's very tight, like the previous one. So I'm going to back it off to about 3.7 or 3.8. All right. Finally, in this corner here, we have another text box. So we go to multi-line text. We're going to click from corner to corner. All right, from here, it's just a matter of typing in item, press enter, number. So I'm going to highlight the text and make my change. So point 12, I'm going to do the justification middle center. And then finally, I will change it to Roman S. So I'll hit the R on my keyboard. Now, item number is somewhat stretched, larger than what you see in the box, so we will do that. So we go to formatting, and we're just going to increase the size of the text slightly. I'm going to stop at I guess 2.0. All right, so that covers the top line. So next is the bill of materials. I will go back to the corner and go from corner to corner. All right, and I'm going to type out bill of materials. Bill of materials has a height of 0.25. So I type that in there. The font of the bill of materials is Roman T. So I hit the R, find Roman T. And then next it says it is fit. So I'm going to go to justification middle center. And then finally I'm going to stretch it out just like in the handout. So I go to formatting and I crank up the number. For bill of materials, it looks like I'm going to use 1.6. If you notice, the B is near the S in the handout, so I'm going to stop it right there at that point. All right, so our next text is right here where it says unless otherwise specified, dimensions are in inches. So I'm going to go to my A and go from corner to corner. And now here, the text is the defaulted text. So I have the simplex already in place, the 0.09. All I got to do is make sure my justification is middle left. All right. So I can go ahead in with the unless otherwise specified. I'm gonna hit the enter button. Dimensions are in inches. All right, so that's one of the general notes for a title block. Now, as you can see, my U is right up on the line. To kind of help fix this, I'm going to go down to my snap mode, and I'm going to right click and go to snap settings. I want to change my snap to 0.0625, a 16th of an inch, and press enter. And what it should do now is, with the snap mode on, it should jump every 16th of an inch over. So I'm going to jump in a direction, as you can see here, in an upwards direction to get it off the line. All right. I'm going to keep that on because it's a good tool to use to help align most of our text. So the next space beside that is, it says drawing by, and then it has your name. So right here, I'm going to go from corner to corner. My text is drawn by, and that's in the simplex. But then this next part, it says that it needs to be in the script style. So I'm going to go ahead and put my name, and I'm going to highlight it. The script style says for me to have it at a 0.12. So it's going to be a little larger than the word drawn by. And then over here, my font is going to be scripts. So we go up the list and find scripts with the S. All right. And then it's still left justified. So from here, we're going to go ahead and close the editor. All right. Now, at this point, I can kind of rearrange my words off the corner there. And so what I did was I clicked the grip and just moved it one point down and over to get it off the line. Next it will be uh, the the date right here. So we go to our corner to corner and we'll type date. Again, this word is already at its default. So all I have to do is get it off the corner. We're going in a downwards direction like that to get the date. Alright, so our next word in this section here says to remove all burrs and break sharp edges. So I'll do a text box from corner to corner and type remove all burrs and breaks and sharp edges. Alright, so I got my text is in there. Again, still the standard font. I can now get this off the corner by using the snap and let it jump off the corner. Again, the goal is to make it consistent. Alright, next is approved by. Go to my multi-line text, click corner to corner. From there, alright, and then we move on to the next one. So right here, we're going to have to do multiple text boxes. So the first one would be for the word tolerance. Alright, so the tolerance, I'm going to go ahead and just type it out. Okay, for the word tolerance, it is to be middle center. Okay, the size of this word is to be 0.12. And the style is Roman S. So we're going to hit the R, go to Roman S, and then it says to fit, which means I need to stretch it out just a little bit more than what it is. So I'm going to stretch it out to the word. It's about there. Alright. And then I'm going to close the editor. Now as you can see, my text is on the line. So I'm going to use that center grip and move it down a couple notches. Alright. So that fixes that. So then next would be my text in here. So I'll start with another text box. I'm going to track over to this corner and come down to that corner. Alright. So in this one, it says fractions. And then it has a plus and minus. So what I want to do is, after I type the S, I'm going to hit the tab button one time. So that I can go over here to symbol and choose the plus and minus. From there, I'm going to do a space 1/64. Alright. I'm going to hit the enter button and then type the next one. Angles. Hit the tab key again. Add the plus and minus symbol. And then 0 degree. So I'm going to go back to symbol and choose degree. And then there's a dash 15 minutes there. Alright, so that would take care of the angles. And so there is my text box, and I'm gonna just move it off the line as you see there. So next would be the decimal side. So I'm gonna start from the top of the line. I'm going to the corner. The word is decimal. The next will be 2 X's, space, and then I'm gonna do the tab button there. Add the plus and minus, space point 0.01. Come to the next line, do 3 X's, tab, go to symbol, plus and minus, space, and then I have a .00 5. Just to make sure for neatness, I'm going to go ahead and just hit the space bar so those are all lined up. From here, I'm going to move it over just one jump over, and I'm going to bring it down one so that it matches with the fraction level. And just yeah. All right, so we'll even that up right there. So the next will be the word issue. So we go back to the multi-line, going from corner to corner. All right, so again, this one is already preset with the default, and I'm gonna just use the grip to move it off the line there. All right, so going across, we have the word drawing title. Now, one way to kind of speed the process up, we could use the copy command a little bit. I'm just going to show you how that works. So I can hit the copy command, click the word I just previously did, press enter, and use the corner as my base point, and take it to that particular corner as well. And I can click here this spot and here this spot. So with those stamps, I can just double click the text and change what I want. This is maybe a faster way if the text was common. Title. This one size. Code. Ident. Number. Alright, so again, that's one way to kind of speed the process up if you like to do it that way. Alright, over here we have the USA. So we go back to our text command and we go from one side to the other. Now, it's USA ink with a period. Alright, we're going to highlight the text, and then from there, this particular text is point 38. It is middle center. The font is Gothic with the E. So I'm going to click up here, hit G, and find it in my list. There it is. Alright, and then I'm going to just go ahead and click on out of it. Alright, so next will be down below, we have drawing number. Again, I'm going to use that same copy. I'm going to copy that, press enter, choose the corner, and then stamp it to that corner. I'm going to do it for the revision over here, for the sheet of, the date, and the scale right here. So all I got to do is just double click the text, make the change. So for here, I'm going to use the tab key to skip for the sheet of. I need to put a code here. All right. Next would be to go over here and change that to REV for revision. And then also I'm going to use my grip to kind of move it over to the center. Okay, so there's that part. Here, that particular text is drawing number. Alright, so that does that. Now we have some larger text that's inside the box. So right here we have the sheet size. So I'm going to go right below the word size and click and click. It's the letter C, capital C, and then you'll highlight it. I'm going to go ahead and make the change to Roman T. Also, the size of this is to 0.25. So we're going to make that change up top. And then lastly, we're going to do middle center for the justification. Alright, next is the code identification. Do the same process. We go to our text box slightly up under the word code. Text. And again, I have that triangle showing up. So what I want to do is uh, turn that triangle off the midpoint so that I can reach that same spot. There's a perpendicular symbol coming up. I'm going to turn that one off too so it doesn't throw me off. So from here, text. Alright, click right below it. Go to the other corner, and then I'm going to type my numbers 38178. This will be middle center. It'll also have a height of 0.25, and the style is standard. Now, standard on AutoCAD is TXT. So I'm going to hit the T and scroll on down to TXT. That is the standard font. And I'm going to close it out right here. Alright, so there's that part. Over here, we have two more, material and finish. So I'm going to borrow the issue text, do a copy, click the corner, select these two corners. I'm going to double click them and make the change. Material. And this one here is finish. Alright, so this time we have completely did the text for this drawing here. So the next would be to apply my dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my dimension line layer. Alright. Now, a lot of the dimensioning is done using baseline dimensioning, so this should be fairly easy to do. So at this point, I'm going to go to my annotate tab, and I got to start off with one linear dimension. So I click on linear, and my first linear dimension is the one that goes from this corner to this point here, and I'm gonna just, instead of me clicking that corner, I'm gonna just track it down and find that X and click. Alright, from here I'm going to do a distance of at 0.5, the angle symbol 270 degrees to create my one dimension. Now from there I can do my baseline dimension, so I'm going to go to baseline and pretty much just click every point going up. If you need to, you can take the snap off to get an accurate click. So I'm going to go ahead with the 181. So next is 350. Next is 475, which falls under this point. But I'm not going to click that point. I'm going to click below the point. Then next is the 525, which is here. Then after that, we have the 606, which falls under here. Now for that one, I'm actually click that corner. All right. Then next would be the 8. This one, I'm going to actually track it down to the line there and click that point and finish it out at the end with the 1075. You press enter and that ends that particular command. Alright, so next is the left side here. Now for this one, we're going to do a different style. We're going to actually do the quick dimension style. Again, quick dimension. So again, baseline, and I'm going to just make sure that I click it instead. Alright, so there's my baseline dimensioning for that side. Alright. We have a few more dimensions up top. So we have a 0.75 here, at symbol 0.5, angle 90 degrees. And we have another one on this side at 0.5. 90 degrees. All right. We have one more final one on the side here. So we do another linear, and then we do the at 0.5 angle, 0 degrees. All right. At this time, we have completed our drawing. Thanks for listening.